All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. And peace and blessings to the elect of Israel out there that's pushing this word in all truth and sincerity. All right, this lesson is going to be called Death and Deliverance. All right, because Yahushai is coming back to bring those two things. All right, I'm going to start by reading Revelation 22:11. It says, "He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still. He that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me." This is Yahushua talking. "To give every man according as his work shall be." You know, whether it's a righteous man and his righteous works, or a wicked man and his wicked works. You know, the Most High is going to send Yahushua to give him his reward. All right. Now let's see what those rewards are. This is Revelation 21, and I think it's around. I'll start at 6. "And he said unto me, It is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of the water of life freely. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son. But the fearful and unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars, shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death." All right. So the fearful, unbelieving, abominable whoremongers, so on and so forth, are going to take part of that second death, which is a lake of fire and brimstone. And that lake of fire and brimstone is the thermonuclear missiles. First and foremost, which is prophesied throughout the scriptures. In 2nd Ezra, the 16th chapter. I can't think of the others off the top of my head, but that point being that the sinners are gonna, or the wicked are gonna take part of that second death, and right here it says, "He that overcometh shall inherit all things." So on one side you got the righteous that are gonna be taken care of, and then the wicked that are gonna suffer a terrible death. All right. And another thing is Yahushua is coming back in those chariots, right? The so-called UFOs, but really they're identified objects. They're identified as clouds, chariots, and a flying roll in this chapter. I'm going to read it. This is Zechariah 5:1. "Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes, and looked, and behold a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I said, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, It is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For every one that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and every one that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it." So, those flying rolls, where he said is twice as long as it is wide, it's gonna be a curse to over the face of the whole earth, and anyone that stealeth or sweareth is gonna be cut off. Meaning, the wicked are gonna be, destroyed by these vehicles. All right. It says, "I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it, whether the timber thereof and the stones thereof." So consuming it, meaning he's gonna just zap it up, man. Whether it's into vapor or just completely make it vanish, man. But it's also talking about, the one that stealeth and the one sweareth falsely by his name. That's talking about Esau, Edom. All right, the Edomites, because how they took over America, and they stole it basically, and made false treaties. All right, and then once those treaties were established, they basically backstabbed Gad for him. But in this chapter, it's talking about how it's going to be a curse. But um, but when Yahushua was talking to his disciples, he was saying that this is going to be a blessing. Yeah, this is Luke 21 and 10. Then said he unto them, nations shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines and pestilences, and fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven. And these fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven. Those are those chariots, man. So-called UFOs. When the average Joe that doesn't know that those vehicles are actually carrying angels in them, or maybe they do, man. They might know that an angel is in them. It's still a terrifying great sign, man. When you see those lights up in the skies. It says, but before all these they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake, and shall turn to you for a testimony. Settle it therefore in your hearts, not to meditate before what ye shall answer, for I will give you. It's like, did I read past it? Okay, I'll just I'll start at 27. Luke 21 and 27. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud. Alright, there's that word cloud again. Talking about those chariots, so-called UFOs, with power and great glory. Alright? And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. Alright? So, those vehicles are going to be a blessing to the men of the Lord, because that's when our redemption draweth nigh. All right, when the Son of Man is coming on one of those chariots, that's why you might see camp videos of brothers starting rejoicing whenever they see strange lights up in there, and then other people are like freaking out. That's let's see, Marvel. Or be not dismayed. Yeah. Jeremiah 10 and 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Alright? So some of the signs of heaven is those chariots, manifesting themselves. Alright? And it's for the heathen to be dismayed. The ones that aren't part of Israel. The ones that aren't part of the elect. Alright? Because that word heathen, I believe it just means like outside the temple, I believe. A person who does not belong to a widely held, this says religion, but, they're cast out, man. They're castaways, heathen. And I can also get that in 2nd Ezra. Let's see. Yeah. Because this is like a clear vision. No, clear vision of Yahushua coming back in those chariots. 2nd Ezra 13 and I'll start at 1. And it came to pass, after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, And lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire, you know? So he just, didn't have to do much, man. And like all of his enemies just burned up. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Now those that multitude that gathered out of the four winds of the heaven, it's talking about all these other nations, in the midst of World War III, when they see Yahushua coming out of the sky with, so-called UFOs or chariots and clouds, they're going to be scared and they're going to start fighting him. It says, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempest. And all those things are, things that burn you. All right. It says, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which were prepared to fight, and burned them up, every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Yeah, man, that's a terrible death, man. Just an instantaneous, just fire, just heat your ass up, inside out, outside in, every which way. It says, a huge ass multitude was there, and then nothing was to be perceived, but dust and the smell of smoke. It says, afterward saw I the same man come down from the mountain, and call unto him another peaceable multitude. And there came such people unto him, whereof some were glad, some were sorry, some of them were bound, and some brought of them that were offered. Then was I sick through great fear, and I awaked and said, Thou hast showed thy servant these wonders from the beginning, and hast counted me worthy that thou shouldest receive my prayer. Yeah, and that peaceable multitude was the elect of Israel. All right. But yeah, let's get this scripture. But that's just that's a clear representation of him coming to kill and then deliver, man. Let's get this scripture though. Jacob. Yeah. Yeah, this is 2 Ezra 6 and 8. Or I'll start at 6. It says, Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other. Then answered I and said, What shall be the the parting asunder of the times? It says, or when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. The hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Other question Ezra asked thou not. So, when people talk about the end of the world, they don't really realize that world is actually just talking about time of rulership. All right. But Esau is the end of the world. So right now, Esau, Edom, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. But he's the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So Esau, Edom's kingdom has to be destroyed in order for Jacob's or Israel's to rise up. All right, just like the vision of Daniel, where the marble hit the stones, the iron mixed with clay, the feet, and then all the other kingdoms fell down, and then that stone was the everlasting kingdom. Let's see, what else do I want to get? I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. Oh yeah, I know what I want to get. Isaiah 66. Yeah, this is Isaiah 66. I'll start at 14. And when ye see this, your heart shall rejoice, and your bones shall flourish like an herb. Yeah, it says, and when ye see this, your heart shall rejoice, and your bones shall flourish like an herb. And the hand of the Lord shall be known toward his servants, and his indignation toward his enemies. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. So it says, and when you see this, you're going to rejoice, and your bones will flourish like an herb, but it says, and the hand of the Lord shall be known toward his servants, meaning that he's going to protect his servants, and his indignation toward his enemies. And indignation means like a righteous anger, all right, is going to be towards his enemies. And then it says, for behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind. So here it is, him coming with those vehicles like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebukes with flames of fire. So he's coming to bring that death, but his servants are going to be rejoicing during that time. Verse 16, for by fire and by a sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. All right, so there's going to be a shit ton of people that are going to be dying, man. But right there, it says, when ye see this, your hearts shall rejoice. Let's see. Rejoice. Yeah, this is Psalms 58. Let's get the chapter. Psalms 58 and 9 says, before your pots can feel the thorns, he shall take them away as with a whirlwind, both living and in his wrath. The righteous shall rejoice when he seeth the vengeance. He shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked, so that a man shall say, verily there is a reward for the righteous. Verily he is a power that judgeth in the earth. And that reward is, vengeance, man, because the righteous have been stepped on for too long. With the scriptures talk about, the meek shall inherit the earth. That's because the meek have been abused over and over and over again. All right. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first. That's because the first in this society, the way they got their kingdom is through lies, robbery, and deceit. Matter of fact. But yeah, that's the whole analogy of the first shall be last, and the meek inheriting the kingdom, man. Yeah, Isaiah 65 and 13. Or I'll start up a bit. I'll start at 11. But ye are they that forsake the Lord, that forget my holy mountain, that prepare a table for that troop, and that furnish the drink offering unto that number. Therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter. Because when I called, ye did not answer. When I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before mine eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. That's the time right now, man. You know, the prophets are out there every week and have been out there and have been uploading videos on YouTube, constantly. And yet, people still don't want to listen, but they choose, evil, whatever evil they want to do. Verse 13, it says, Therefore, thus saith the Lord, power, or God, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. And ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen, for the Lord shall slay thee, and call his servants by another name. So right there, that's that separation, death and hell to the wicked, but the righteous are gonna be protected, man. So with that, I'll end it right there. I know it's getting kind of long, but with that, hope this video was edifying. Again, all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. And peace and blessings to the elect and 1/3 of Israel out there that's, pushing this word in whatever way possible. Shalom.